Good afternoon, everyone. It looks like the numbers are starting to settle down right now. Welcome to the Kestrel webinar for Dress Rehearsal 2. This one I think is more of a drop-in session rather than any sort of webinar. We're not going to really go into anything in detail. I think the first thing I'd like to share with everyone, we're still continuing with the report development. Hopefully you would have been able to see the aggregate schedules that you've been able to download, which allows you to test access to Kestrel and ensure that each of the participants in their various roles have access to the platform and see the information and download it and get the correct level of information appropriate to their role. The most important part of the development work that's being undertaken right now is the plan versus actual, which is based upon each of the suppliers' individual submissions and reflecting what the actual dip out turn is for a given day. We are seeking to have that fully tested by the end of the week and plan to get that deployed either Monday or Tuesday, dependent on resource availability. We'll give you an update as soon as we know it. So the intention is that the functionality will be available from Tuesday after Bank Holiday Monday for everybody to test. Now that'll be primarily for which the plan versus actual. The other reports that we're going to be delivering is the burn down report, which is a view of the migrated MPANs by region for suppliers, and also the ancillary aggregate views for other parties as well. So that's kind of an update from our side. Is there a message in the chat?
There was a question. Yeah, in the chat, Kerry Ann O'Neill says, when should we expect the next set of test scripts? Assumed they would be with us this week.
So the test scripts, as I say, we've got a slight delay with this plan versus actual report, so it'll be dependent on that. So in reality, all it is download an additional report and view that report. So there's nothing really sophisticated about it. So I think it's more about us focusing on making sure just signal versus noise, not to overwhelm suppliers. So we'll give that information as soon as we're ready and we've got the deployment ready. So at the same time we'll do the deployment, we'll be giving you those additional test scripts for the functionality that will be delivered. Okay.
Lee.
Yeah, just had a quick question. Excuse me if I've missed something in the past, but obviously I put in a question last week about the reports that you're still working on. The test script I had previously, were you expecting me to submit that with the negative findings for the reports that didn't exist, or are you happy for just to run the scripts and hold them locally?
So for the moment, we only really need those, and when we've completed dress rehearsal, as to close out proceedings, because the approach we've taken for both dress rehearsal 1 and dress rehearsal 2 is an iterative approach to allow us the ability to phase the delivery of some of these reports and requirements, because there are some upstream dependencies that are outside of control that we've had to manage.
Okay, thanks.
Minesh, you're next.
Yeah, just a quick one from you. You mentioned 2 of the reports. According to Tesco, I believe there's another 2, unless I've missed it, the migration message transaction summary and the unused capacity report. Is there any updates on those 2 at the minute, or?
So the transaction summary will be in plan to be delivered either towards the end of next week or just the week after. And so one of the things we're exploring is extending the, if need be, the dress rehearsal 2 window by a week to accommodate those late running reports for the transaction summary. Technically, we could close out with just the plan versus actual report, but we want to be able to get you that transaction summary and that burn down report in your hands. And so we'll probably seek to extend the dress rehearsal 2 by a week, and we'll confirm that by comms later on.
And the same goes for that. Sorry, the same goes for the other reporting as for both of those. Sorry, it's the burn and the unused capacity report.
So the unused capacity report, I don't think it's technically really in scope for this particular dress rehearsal. We do have kind of an internal view available that we could potentially share as a specification by example, and that's probably what we'll do rather than make it available via Kestrel. I think that was the intention, primarily because I think we're focusing on the most important thing, which is the plan versus actual, and also unused capacity is dependent on actual migration activity. So that's the order we're doing it in.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Phil, you're next.
Thank you. Hi, Alf. Apologies, I missed last week's drop in the session. I'm fulfilling the supplier role, and just on section 3.10, it mentions navigate to submission to execute baseline. When I'm in Kestrel, there's nowhere that says submission to execute, and I can see supplier profile sprint 99 and sprint 0. Is there something I'm missing there?
So I believe that's sprint 0. I think we changed it at the last minute to try and originally it was submission 2. It didn't make sense because there was and so we've synthesized a sprint 0 for execute.
So that'll be sprint 0. Thank you. And then for section 4, went through 3.1 in the forecast schedule. It mentions click on the active committed schedule. Is that something that we're waiting for? Because I can't see that anywhere. Is that correct?
So you're a supplier, you're a non-SIT supplier, are you?
Yes.
So this is one of the things we're having to work through. So we're focused on delivering the committed schedule for the SIT suppliers because they're the ones coming on the pitch early on. So as a non-SIT supplier, you won't have a committed portion at the moment. We'll look to do that later on. But obviously, the amount of synthetic data, instead of being 7 suppliers, we'd have to produce 70. So unfortunately, we've had to prioritise the SIT suppliers.
No problem. So we'll be completing that during this dress rehearsal too. Is that correct?
Yeah, for non-SIT suppliers, that's correct, sir.
No problem. And then I think the update you mentioned earlier around the aggregated migrated MPAN burn down. Will I need to complete those steps?
Yeah, so we'll be, as I say, we'll be seeking to deploy those
next week.
Not next week, the following week, probably with an extended dress rehearsal. But I'm trying to push the developers hard next week to see if we can get it done. But I think the direction of travel is we'll probably need to extend.
No problem. Thank you for the clarification. That really helps. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Michael.
Yeah,
that was Michael's name.
Yeah, Michael, UKPN. I saw you had 2 hands up. I don't know how I did that. But anyway, I just want to clarify we've got the LDSO tab for the dress rehearsal 2. There's 3 reports on there. You mentioned 4 earlier. Is the 4th one not an LDSA one? Or...
So report number 4 will be an LDSO one. So it'll be an aggregate view of outturn for the LDSO. So all the suppliers combined outturn for a given LDSO on a given day.
Okay, so the test scripts the test scripts I've got, is there an updated one that I should be looking at? Because I've only got on the LDSO tab, I've got report 3, 4, and 5.
So report 4 is the one we're seeking to deploy next week.
Okay. So there's only 3. That's what I was saying. There's only 3 reports for LDSA. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said 4. Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, number 4.
Ah, gotcha. No, that's all right. I've got number 4, 3, 4, and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So apologies,
Thanks.
a little bit verbally ambiguous there.
Yeah, that's all right. No, that's all right. I understand now. Thank you.
Okay.
Martin.
Hi there. At the last drop-in session, I raised the question about people that aren't taking part in the dress rehearsal like us, having access to an example file of the daily baseline schedule for a committed schedule for a sprint, because we haven't got an example of that because we're not taking part in dress rehearsal 2. And somebody said that they would take that away and get some examples maybe published somewhere. Can you tell me what happened to that?
Yeah,
So apologies.
I can take that one, Alf. Sorry. Yeah. So Martin, yeah, that's still on our backlog. We were just going to hopefully wait until we had the other schemas available to do it in one shot. But given that we may be slightly delayed in getting the other reports out, we can look to expedite that for you.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, that's for the agent community, is it?
No, we're a non-sit supplier, not taking part in dress rehearsal 2.
Yeah, of course.
And so what we need to be able to see is what everybody else is able to see, because they're taking part in dress rehearsal 2, so that we can code up our solutions to absorb these files and generate them.
Yeah, so there's 2 elements to that. So one thing, just we make sure to be clear for the avoidance of doubt, is that there's when just before starting, prior to your active sprint, we're actively migrating, you'll be providing us a plan for that sprint at a daily granularity. And I think
we'll be doing weekly.
Yeah, but for the active sprint,
sprint, yeah,
it will be daily.
Yeah.
So what you will see is there will be a daily element for the first, 42 days of that sprint, and then it flicks over to weekly.
Yeah. So that was the answer to the first question that I asked, which is, what are we supposed to upload for the daily committed plan? And the answer is the combined schedule, which we've got access to from dress rehearsal 1. But then when you have validated that, we get a daily committed baseline back from you, don't we?
Yeah, so maybe we'll just take this step by step. So what was provided as part of submission 2 was a forecast schedule only, because all suppliers, and there's no suppliers who are going to be active in the next sprint. So for the SIT suppliers, when they conduct their first planning session where they're going to be active, which will be, if I remember correctly, October the 2nd, that's when we issue those ones. For the SIT suppliers, or the ones who are in all the SIT suppliers in Sprint 0, they would have to give us, for the whole of Sprint 0, a daily granularity plan. And the remainder will be forecast in those plans. So it will be combined granularity, whereas all the non-SIT suppliers only see forecasts. And what we can seek to give you is an example of what we're calling that combined plan that has a daily element and a forecast element in it. And then obviously when we publish the schedules back to the suppliers, we publish it as, we separate it into 2, the committed portion and the forecast portion. And the rationale behind that is that for unused capacity to be allocated, it's only ever allocated against the committed portion of the schedule. Obviously, we can write this up and make this a lot clearer to you, but hopefully that answers your question. And yes, we can provide that examples of that combined schedule and the separate committed.
So I'm looking at Kestrel right now for Sprint 99, and because you've changed us all over to be daily, I can press download submission template and I get that combined submission template now. So I've got that one.
Yes, correct. You've got it. Yeah. So
but I don't have an example and can't get an example of the daily committed baseline schedule because I'm not taking part in dress rehearsal 2.
Yeah. So
and that's the one I want.
Of course, so we'll either get you an example or we can do something in the back end to synthesize one for you.
Yeah, I just need the file format.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't care about seeing the data. I just need to know what the file formats are that we're going to have to receive from you and ingest into our system.
Yeah, that's no problem. Should be able to
Okay.
get that done fairly quickly.
Lovely, thank you.
Of course. Paul.
Hi, I'd put a note in the chat, but I thought I'd just call it out. So, see for the email notification, it's going to come out to confirm that the test scripts are available, or the reports are available for the remaining test scripts. Can we make sure that email goes out to, I don't know if it's everyone that's invited to this session. Obviously, there's a bit more of a risk and a shorter turnaround time to get them done next week, and just in case we're relying on a couple of people and picking up that email so that we know to go ahead.
Understood, and I think that's another benefit. I think or side benefit of us extending the dress rehearsal 2 window by a week to allow, I think we've all been affected by the holiday period, so just to allow that little bit of extra time as well.
Yeah.
Sunir.
Hi, I think I have not got access to the Kestrel actually. How do I get access to the tool?
So the procedures should be, you should have a migration principal or lead within your organization, and they're the ones that would have to request it, or somebody who's delegated as a Kestrel user manager. And correct, I think it's Joe. Do we actually have the Microsoft form up and running now?
No, it's not been launched as of yet. So for now, Sunir, if you can get your principal contact to email into the migration inbox, and we can get that action for you.
Yeah,
okay, so I think the user manager can send the request as well, right? Because the principal contact is on annual leave, so the user manager can send that request in.
Yeah, but you also need to make sure that you have a valid and active MHHS program account.
Yeah. How? So which ID I should send that request to?
Just the Kestrel at mhhsprogram.co.uk.
Yeah.
So obviously noting that I think it's every 30 or 60 days, I can't remember which, your MHHS account expires. So if you've not logged into the collaboration base, it may have expired. Just noting that.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. So I should just send an email requesting for access.
Yep, but it needs needs to be from your user manager.
Yeah. Okay. So is it just for self or for all the users? Because so for each users they have to do it, right?
No, normally the user manager can just send it in.
Okay.
Or you can send it in, but obviously copying the user manager is the other way. Yeah. But
okay, will do. Thank you.
Okay, because the main reason we do that, because we've got a large community and large population, and what we have to have is an authorized person who sanctions access to get access to what could be commercially sensitive data to various parties.
No problem. Thank you.
Hopefully that makes sense, everyone. Thank you. Hi, Des.
Hey, Alf. It's Des from DCC. Just a quick question. So the instance of Kestrel that we log on to for testing, is that a replica of the live version that you've got now, or pre-live, or whatever? It's just that when we log into the contacts section as part of one of the tests, the list of contacts is not fully up to date. So just wondering, is this an old version?
So the short answer is yes, it is, but it's not 100% representative. Hence the banner sort of saying that there's simulated synthetic data. However, the user management is not fully up to date, because what we had to do is cut off onboarding all of users at a certain point, because we, as you probably understand, we've had to onboard quite a large cohort all in one go. So we had to draw a line and focus on that. So obviously, I think I've seen your email sort of saying there's some missing people. I've tasked the account managers to sweep that up and package that up so that we can action those sort of over the next week or so for you. So apologies if we've not got round to that quite yet.
All right, perfect. Thanks,
Alf. Yeah, but I have seen your email.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Richard.
Hi, Richard.
Just a quick question. Obviously, agents have been excluded from dress rehearsal 2. Unless I'm mistaken, there isn't another dress rehearsal due. What will be the plan for agents to be introduced and make sure that everything's working okay from an agent perspective for Kestrel?
So I think the reason that we've had to hold fire on that is that we are, again, I think for Kestrel, let's be clear, the focus is for SIT. So what we will be doing is reaching out to all the agents in SIT and getting a view of the suppliers they're working with, and vice versa, the agent, the contractor suppliers, the agents for those SIT suppliers. And then we can start to build out that demand view. And we'll be focusing on those separately, and it won't be a sort of a wide dress rehearsal. It will be almost a closed group for those SIT agents, as it were. That was what we have in plan. We haven't officially communicated that as yet, though, because we're still working through the plan on that.
So, do you know when that official communication will come out?
I think there was a meeting yesterday, so I'm just going to catch up on that. So I can't give you a timeline, unfortunately, at the moment, Richard.
Thank you.
Can't see any more hands, Alf. So,
yeah, any questions come through on the chat?
only the one that Paul already raised.
Okay. All good. We've got another 5 minutes left if anybody's got any sort of other thoughts, questions, or clarifications that are required.
Alf, when's the part 2 of this testing? I can't remember the date now.
Part 2?
Yeah. So we can only test up to a certain point, right? So when's the next bit happening?
So we're doing our final testing this Friday, and we'll look to deploy either Monday or Tuesday, depending on whether I can get the resources to work on Bank Holiday Monday. That's what I'm working to. So it's either we'll have a silent outage on Monday, or the outage will be on Tuesday, ready for Wednesday.
Okay. And then we'd have 2 weeks to test that bit as well. Is that right? Or
I think it'll be a week. So it'll be the remainder of the week and then the following week.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And would that conclude all the testing?
Yes. Yes, that's on the critical path, which is report 4. And then we'll seek to deploy the following week, maybe the Monday or the Tuesday, the remaining reports, which is the transaction level report and the burn down report.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Because they're not so critical. They're they're added value reports.
Cool.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question. Thanks, Des. And I think Des, probably I need to, I probably will catch up with you because obviously you've got a slight variant on your report, being smart only.
Yeah, I think we've got a bylaw coming up, haven't we? Sometimes, so I'll make sure we talk about that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we've got 3 minutes left. I think I can't see any more hands. I can't see any more questions in the chat. So all that remains for me to say is thank you for joining, everyone. And yes, we're working hard to get the rest of the reports delivered. And report 04 will either be with you Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and comms will reflect that to let you know what's going on. And then we will, just for clarity, we'll fast follow the remaining 2 reports for you to look at. But we can, and at the same time, there'll be clarification in terms of what the timeline is needed in regards to providing your self-certification on your test scripts completion. So, thank you, everybody.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.